jump in the back of the pickup truck and join us for a ride back to the good old days.
Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
A nostalgic podcast based on entertainment and memories from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. Come with us and revisit the best time ever. So jump on your BMX bike, pop a heavy metal tape into your Walkman, and hang on tight while you go back to the past with us.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Hey everyone, welcome to Pastimes at 80's High. Got another great one for you today. Got the boys here again, Mark, Kevin, and Donald. How you doing, guys?
Fantastic, man.
Howdy.
Doing good.
Excellent.
Awesome. And of course, I am AJ, and we are going to do our top 7 favorite action movies today. We've excluded science fiction, fantasy, westerns, and war movies. Now, there might be a few errors here, and there may be, a few, that can be associated with one of them, but not necessarily in that category. But just to get the ball rolling, like I say, we are going to start off today with Donald. So, Donald, number 7 to you.
All right. And I'm going to kick it right into First Blood.
Ah, yes.
You drew First Blood, not me.
I don't think you understand. I didn't come here to rescue Rambo from you. I came here to rescue you from him.
I love
First Blood.
It's probably my favorite of the series because this was an actual movie, actual plot. Vietnam guys coming back, PTSD, all that stuff, small town, bad sheriff going after him. It was just an awesome,
Incredible
movie.
movie.
Yes. I mean, it was totally realistic. I mean, but
Now this is a perfect example out of the gate, though, where that could be war associated, but that's fine,
Right,
And
it's
that's
war
perfect. Adjacent,
I guess.
Exactly.
war adjacent. There you go. That's
I'm sure
But
it's not gonna be
Washington
the
term.
last.
I mean, the whole war sci-fi, it was tough because there's 15 subgenres of sci-fi, and
Oh yeah.
does it a war movie? Is it an actual war like Vietnam, World War II, or is it something that is just people shooting at each other? kind of thing?
Correct.
Right.
yeah.
Or is it people shooting at each other and science?
A lot of good one-liners on that
Fictitious
show.
war. Right.
A lot of good one-liners.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So that's number 7 to you, then, Kev.
Number 7 to me was 1984's Red Dawn.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Such a great movie, such targeted at us at that time. I mean, it was just amazing. And you got to think about, or I always thought about the fact that as they were planning the invasion of the United States, something that nobody's ever done before, somebody somewhere in a general said, if we take that high school in Calumet, Colorado, the rest of the U.S. falls.
Oh, no,
we just need
absolutely,
to get that high school. One of the interesting backstories to this, though, is there is a very extensive backstory that they came up with for the movie, and it was by Milos, the director, and Alexander Haig, who was later to become Secretary of State, who was on the board of MGM and got very excited about the movie, kind of hijacked it a little bit, and made it, a rah-rah movie. It was supposed to be an anti-war movie.
Interesting.
But the budget
Did not know
exploded and tripled and all that once Haig got involved in it. But part of the planning that they used was some of Adolf Hitler's plans from World War II. If he were ever to invade the U.S., that was coming in through Alaska, bringing South America into it, Nicaragua, and whatever else.
Right.
So those were actually part of Hitler's plans that they used as a blueprint for the backstory of the movie.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, it was the Soviet Union and Cuba were the basic adversaries in this one.
Yes, and Nicaragua.
Nicaragua was in there too. Okay. Well,
Mixture.
Yeah, so it was,
Right.
that was
What an
yeah.
awesome movie.
It was
though.
so great.
Yeah, not many survived at the
What
end
a
there,
great
unfortunately.
cast, too. All right. So that's number 7 to you, Mark.
Okay, this is a movie based on a rescue mission going back to Vietnam. The name of the movie is Uncommon Valor.
Oh, yes.
Directed by Ted Kotcheff. This has a lot of iconic moments. The movie starts in Vietnam. They're getting on a helicopter, including Tex Cobb, and they're on the helicopter, and they couldn't get every man on, and they felt terrible about it, but they get their men together, and they decide we're going to go get those guys over there, and so yeah, Patrick Swayze's also in this group, and they don't like him. They don't like him that much because they think he's green and just not part of the team. And there's a scene where Tex Cobb and Patrick Swayze get in this big fight. And just before that, I want to be on the team. We are the team, asshole.
Yeah.
And then
That's a great scene.
and this was such an incredible scene where Swayze gets his ass kicked pretty much at the end. And then
Gene Hackman basically says,
Yep.
yeah, his dad's out there.
yes.
You want to know why?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why.
Right.
And from that point, that was a game changer
Right.
in the movie.
Right. They changed how they treated him
Yeah,
at that
they-
point. He
Tex
became,
Cobb
he
picked up-
became part of them at
He
that
picked-
point.
His
picked him up.
dad was killed in action, I think. Not missing, but
Yeah.
killed in action.
He was killed in action.
And he wanted to
Okay.
help out. But
So yeah, that's my number 7.
what an awesome fucking pick.
Nice.
Yep.
I love Sailor in that movie.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Sailor
Randall
is,
Tex
that's
Cobb,
Randall
yeah.
Tex
Yeah.
Cobb, who also lost in a fight in 1980 to Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. Yep. I'm a collaborator. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So now let's see now if I'm going to make any changes to my list here. All right. My number 7, I had to take it, and it's The Karate Kid.
good one.
And is it
Nice.
considered action? It is, according to Google. So I'm running with it.
Yeah, I would call that action for sure.
I am one of the few people out there that roots for William Zabka, Johnny. I feel like when you go back and you watch it and you watch Cobra Kai nowadays.
Right. Well, did you root for him back in 1980, whenever it was? Or
I didn't, but I slowly started.
you got there.
I got there before Cobra Kai too, because
There was like a
great
YouTube thing or something.
Yes. Yeah, and they were like, "Wow, he's right. He's
Right.
stealing a
Right.
girl.
Yeah.
New kid in town.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they phrased it in a way that was like, you know what?
yes.
It makes
But-
a good point.
I won't go into too deep about it, but I love Cobra Kai as well, and
Even though he just had that one move.
the crane kick,
Yeah.
which
But-
Johnny
Which
still
was the
says is
stupidest.
illegal.
That was the stupidest karate move I have ever seen.
Wax
There
on,
is
wax
no-
off.
There is no defense.
Right. There is no defense. Well, if you like swept his leg while he had his other one up in the air.
Or punched him in the face while both arms were up in the air.
How about the Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage where he just punches him right in the nuts while he's flying through the air? I think that's a way you could counter it.
All righty. So that brings us to number 6, Dongo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the name of the movie you picked?
No. This one
God I hit
is, I don't know if it's necessarily action, but it popped into my head as a good one from the time that had me on the edge of the seat kind of thing. And it's War Games.
War Games.
Which is, again, it's war adjacent. It's Matthew Broderick, 1983, Ali Sheedy, where, it's like before hacking was cool. He hacked into the U.S. Department of Defense mainframe that had a new AI type of war machine, basically. And he started playing games with it, and he basically started global thermal nuclear war game that almost, destroyed the planet.
The Whopper.
Kind of interesting. Yeah, that's right. It is the
Would
Whopper.
you like to play a game?
Right. And
Shall we play a game?
Oh,
I think I missed him.
yeah. Weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
Love to. How about global thermonuclear war?
Wouldn't you prefer a good game of chess?
Later, let's play global thermonuclear war.
I just thought it was a cool movie, and there was like a lot of action scenes in it.
Towards the
Absolutely,
end,
yeah.
especially when they're trying to chase him down.
They chase him down and stuff. Yeah. So
And edge of seat, of course, definitely.
yeah.
Yeah, I would consider that action for sure.
All right. So that's 6 to you, Kev.
Number 6 to me, I had to go with one of my all-time favorite movies, Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior.
Yes.
I mean, action, yeah, we're full of it.
Absolutely.
We've got it
Non-stop.
everywhere.
Right.
No, just great movies, well done for the budgets that they had. Obviously, the budget was much bigger on this one, but not as big as Beyond Thunderdome.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But and I think I mentioned this to you, AJ, having watched it again recently, you know, they're outside of the gas city where they're pumping the gas, and Humongous and all his lieutenants are they're out there and they want to get the gas. But in a post-apocalyptic world where there's no gas, they wasted a lot of it driving around every day outside, just doing jumps with the motorcycles and driving around the cars. I was like,
They might have figured out some, like how the U.S. Army uses their tanks can use any type of fuel, basically.
Oh, I'm sure.
Biodiesel.
Right,
and,
right.
They might have developed some kind of engine like that.
Possibly,
Yeah,
but
you
if that's the case, then why do they need to kill the people and take the gas city? You know what I mean? So it's just, I don't know. Just a great fun movie. I mean, if you didn't, the first time you saw it, if you didn't jump out of your seat when Wes came up over the front of the Peterbilt or whatever it was, and the hand came, you thought he was gone, and that hand comes up and grabs the little feral boy, and you're just like, if you didn't jump out of your seat, then you're lying.
Oh, what a great series, man. All right. Let's see. Number 6 to Mark.
Okay, I have the original Top Gun.
Nice.
Of course, I try to Google it to get some info, and it always came up Top Gun Maverick.
The
But-
new one, yeah.
Yes, but yes, obviously everyone's seen this. It's total classic. Tom Cruise is the main character. You have Val Kilmer, and it's I feel the need for speed, and Ice was Val Kilmer, and he didn't really like
Ice, baby.
Tom Cruise's character there.
No.
And anyway, but by the end, that when they went out on their last mission, he came out, and the big warm fuzzy moment is when you're still way too dangerous, but I'll go fight with you anytime. And it was just a really nice way to end the movie. And
Great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, it's classic.
it's a classic, and you guys are probably going to have it too. I'm
As
guessing.
annoying as Tom Cruise is.
Well, you know
It's a
what?
classic.
You know what? There's one thing I like about him. Is,
exactly.
He's about my height, so I might even actually be taller than him. I think I am actually taller than he is. So I'll take that. As
That
a
and
thing.
Scientology, right?
Oh God! If you want to get into that,
No.
it's only a billion-year contract.
That's why I was telling him no.
So I
He's
stepped
a
right in it.
kook.
Oh, yeah. But this is back in the 80s, obviously. I don't think he got there yet,
All right. So 6 to me. And this is one that a lot of you probably may not even know, but I just remember loving these types of movies, and it just meant a lot to me. And it's with Tom Selleck, and it's called An Innocent Man.
Oh.
And, he's framed, set up. They go to the wrong house. I think it's Oak Way and Oak Drive or something. They fuck it up. And he's got a blow dryer in his hand. So they shoot him, and then they frame him, set him up because they fucked up on whoever their, informant was fucked up. But just such a great movie. He has to go to prison, of course, and he gets his revenge at the end. And just such a fun movie while he's in there. You know what I mean? Just going from, like a businessman or whatever he was. I think he was like an air traffic controller. And then he had to become a badass, which was a little annoying in the movie because once he did, like, everyone's like looking up to him. It's like, yeah, he's probably still a pussy.
Street cred. Yeah.
Street cred, exactly. But I don't know. It was just a real fun movie to me, man. And I had to put it on this because these movies are the ones that mean something to me. So anyway, 5 to you, Dongo.
Cool. Well, I'm going to go with not the first in the series, but the second, and it's Lethal Weapon 2.
Oh, yes.
Because I love the Lethal Weapon series, but I love the second one more than the first, just because it had more humor along with, and it's not a comedy. It's not a comedy. It's an action.
Absolutely.
But,
I mean, yeah. You can never
there was some
call it an
classic,
action.
it had like, was it Joe Pesci was in it?
Hilarious.
There's plenty of humor in these
you at the
action
drive-through.
movies.
There's a lot of like classic pop
Whatever
culture
Leo
stuff
wants,
in there.
Leo gets.
They fuck people with the cell phones.
Yeah, and I love how he's on the toilet and there's like a pressure switch or something, and he's like, you can't jump off the toilet, so he's like, "Is it 1, 2, 3, go?" Or
Yeah, exactly.
it's
Go
like
on,
anybody's ever been in
That's
that
a
situation, you
real-life
have to like
thing.
check.
Yep.
Is it 1, 2, 3? Go on 3 or 1, 2, 3,
I
go?
remember that part.
It's always 1, 2, 3, go in my book.
Right, yeah.
In case we're ever in that situation, guys, let it be known.
All right, yes,
could
we-
be.
Yeah.
Right?
Awesome pick.
Yeah.
Gonna
All right.
retire today.
So do you, Kev, for 5?
Number 5 to me, I struggled, but it has to be mentioned. So I'm going with 007, James Bond, For Your Eyes Only.
Yes.
Oh.
1981.
For your
It's on my
eyes only.
Absolutely. Was that Sheena
I don't
Easton?
know. It was a
I think
really
that
good
was-
song, though.
Yeah,
There's just so many of
I
these
think that
movies
was,
to pick from,
but I
man.
mean, you've got all of the fun of the spy gadgets and all of the international espionage. You got the hot chicks. You got the fast cars.
Yeah.
I mean,
ski chase.
the ski chase. Yeah, absolutely. Bond was just great,
And that was our Bond because
Roger Moore. Yeah.
Roger Moore
Yeah.
was more our
Absolutely.
generation's Bond.
No, I was a Roger Moore guy.
Yeah.
he was really.
Sean Connery was awesome, but
Yeah.
he was predecessor.
Right. I would say I would probably at that time I probably would have said Roger Moore. At this point, I still put Connery first just because
He's the OG.
such a badass.
Yeah.
Timothy,
Sit down.
I'll take S words for 1,000.
Swords.
Swords. Yes, anal bum cover.
Oh God.
Lazenby and Timothy Dalton in my world don't exist as they those were just two off in Dalton's case, but one off in Lazenby's case that just didn't fit. I didn't mind Pierce Brosnan.
No.
I thought he was okay.
Or Craig.
Craig is okay, but it changed the whole. But like everything else, it kind of changed everything.
It did.
That
but
he wasn't that.
they weren't
But that's
Dalton.
why Moore was that. Moore and Connery were those like very, very suave,
Right.
kind of dudes. They weren't necessarily like the badass that worked out in the gym all the time.
Right.
But they were
Right. They
They
used
were
their
skilled.
wit more than they did.
Yeah, exactly.
That's one opening of a movie that was just incredible. The hot chick silhouette the whole time. And that song, just an incredible song. Like, man, that's a great pick. And I'm glad you did it because it was on my honorables. So
Oh, you have
Nice.
awesome. So 5 to you then, Mark.
All right, this is a Dirty Harry movie with the most hateable antagonist that you could ever meet in your life. And I love the way this movie begins. It's sudden impact.
Yes.
And I love the way it begins where he goes into a store and there's somebody trying to rob it. And he says, Clint Eastwood says, "We're not going to let you get out of here." Who's we, sucker? Me? Smith and Wesson.
Yeah, I love that one.
So that's how it started. And what the movie's based on these two sisters that get raped and just absolutely beaten up and everything. One of them is catatonic, and the other sister that survived it is really into vigilante justice.
Good for her.
Oh no,
Nicely played.
But it was just the most hateable people.
Just
And-
another great fucking series, man. All of those movies.
And Clint Eastwood's my favorite actor of all time, and he was so friggin' badass.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Go ahead, make my day.
I knew that'd have to get thrown in.
You
here.
gotta
Of course
ask
it
yourself, did he shoot 5 times 6
Oh,
times.
Right.
that's one of the best.
Now you have
scenes
no
ever,
idea.
too.
Is it 10? Was it pre-ban or is it 16 or is it?
Right, yeah, exactly. Right. No shit. Wasn't a 6-shooter.
Yeah.
All right. So number 5 to me, another one people probably will not have, and that is Iron Eagle.
I thought about
Just
it.
one of my
Great
all-time favorites.
I don't know if you heard my sigh.
Yeah. Anyway, just great movie. Jason Gedrick, just terrible actor, but just a fun movie where he has to rescue his dad, and you got Louis Gossett Jr. with his lisp that is just the fucking greatest. And I mean, I can't say a lot about it. He just has his group of friends, and he got failed out of the academy and goes to rescue his dad with Chappie. And just so fun.
It was
I watched it over and over. And just another tie-in here is when you watch Cobra Kai, at one point, I think in season 1, he's Johnny Lawrence is sitting on his couch and he's watching Iron Eagle. And it's the scene when Chappie goes down. Chappie! But just a fun movie to me that I had to have on here.
Mayday! Mayday!
Chappie! Chappie, where are you?
Just put in that tape. There's an order. Nothing you can do about me.
Chappie, I want to help you. Where are you?
Climb high like I told you. Doug, I ain't gonna make it.
Chappie!
Anyway, so that brings us up to number 4 then, Don.
Cool. And this is a little bit of a deep cut, not really a total popular movie, but it was really awesome. It kind of touches on the sci-fi, but not in the way I see sci-fi. And it's Dreamscape, which is 1984 with Dennis Quaid. Which is a real obscure movie, but it's really cool.
I don't think I know this movie.
Yeah,
actually.
So it's a movie about a psychic who can enter people's dreams, and it's kind of like associated with an MK Ultra kind of thing, government agency that is going to use this to like assassinate the president.
So historical fact.
Yeah. Right. So in the preface of the movie, if you die in a dream, you die in real life, because their
that sounds
theory
like,
is you always wake up before you die. So they enter these spies or whatever you want to call them into people's dreams. Yeah, and it's kind of cool. And it had like Max von Sydow, who's a really cool actor, and Christopher Plummer, both really awesome villains.
I remember it vaguely, but
it's coming back to me.
I need to rewatch that.
Yeah,
which is something that happened throughout researching this. Is I saw so many movies that I'm like didn't fit with what we're doing, but I need to see that movie again. Or like I said to AJ earlier, it's one of those movies that you remember seeing it advertised, but you never got to go see it.
Had been Dennis Quaid's one of his first.
Isn't that he's the guy that plays Reagan in the new Reagan movie, I believe.
Yep.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, Dennis Quaid.
Yeah. But the other movie, of course, that if you die in your sleep, you actually die. Sometimes you might even end up in the killer's belly and become a meatball like Rick. But that would obviously be the Freddy Krueger series.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Never sleep again.
The Dream Warriors.
Yeah.
Off topic, but
Yeah.
All right. So 4 to you, Kev.
4 to me is a little different take on one of our heroes, and that is Any Which Way You Can.
Yes.
With Clint Eastwood's Right Turn, Clyde.
This time, ain't gonna be no any roast. No, this time it's gonna be a 8 roast.
Right turn, Clyde.
I mean, this one was a little bit more humor in it than some of the other, but not a straight up comedy by any means.
Still plenty of action.
Yeah, although Ruth Gordon that played his mother was
awesome.
friggin' hilarious.
Yeah.
And then what were the the Black Widow spiders, the motorcycle gang that
they
were just
awesome.
so
stupid.
Exactly, just so dumb. And then just, the bare knuckle prize fighting and all that. And it was just great. I mean, a guy driving around with a gorilla.
Orangutan. Wait a minute.
Sorry.
Get your
orangutan.
apes straight. The orangutans are the scientist, okay?
Right.
Let alone an ape child.
I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to.
Come on.
But,
Next thing you're going to call these apes monkeys.
But just a fun, great, action-packed film. The whole series was awesome.
Oh, incredible. I mean, Clint Eastwood, just timeless.
Oh, of course.
All right, brother. 4 to you.
All right. Well, you better get a very large supply of body bags for this one.
You want a war you can't win? Are you telling me that 200 men against your boy is a no-win situation for us?
You send that many, don't forget one thing.
What?
A good supply of body bags.
My number 4 is also First Blood. A great movie. As we know, he shows up in this northwestern town, and Brian Dennehy's character, says, which way you going?
Such a dick. Yep.
North. And,
Right.
And then, he gets in the car and because he says, can I give you a ride? And he wants him to get the fuck out of town.
Right.
He says, is there any place I can eat around here? Yeah, there's a place about 60 miles or 30 miles, I think it was. And, of course, that didn't go over well. And the next thing you know, he's in jail. And you had this character, I think he was the deputy. What a piece of shit he was.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of the apes, there was a scene in this movie, of course, where they're taking a hose to John Rambo in his jail cell, just like in the original Planet of the Apes with Charlton Heston. And it's not realistic, as I said when you picked it. But
Right.
son of a bitch, did he not kill that bastard deputy when he was up in a helicopter?
I thought you were going to use the deputy dog voice there.
No, I mean, I'm just saying that, this motherfucker is the best, the most trained. He was into guerrilla. He was
Green Beret.
Yeah, guerrilla warfare.
Yeah.
Was
He was like, it's my town. I don't want any vagrants. Like, he put him in the vagrant.
Well, he called him a vagrant.
category.
Yeah.
Right.
Get out of Malibu,
Right.
Lebowski.
And,
I don't think it
the
was
guy's
the
a veteran.
veteran
He
thing.
should have just said, hey, I'll buy you
I'll buy you
breakfast.
lunch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
buy you
exactly.
breakfast and I'll give you
Exactly.
a lift. And there wouldn't have been a movie.
The movie
It
would
would've
have been pretty boring.
Very short movie, and we would not be talking about
He
it
got
today.
the big breakfast.
Yeah.
And the end.
But yeah. So I mean, he was the ultimate survivalist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course, he went on to do more movies after this.
Well, then they became gratuitous. Like the Rambo Part 2 is him just, shooting
I still
5
love that
million
one.
rounds of ammunition.
and never reloading once.
So yeah,
If I took John Rambo on my list, I would have went with the second one.
Would too,
in
okay.
my
I know, I
opinion,
love-
but-
Interesting.
Right.
But I didn't.
That was kind of war. But the coolest thing in that movie, not to go off track, was the explosive arrowheads.
Oh,
Coolest weapon in movies.
And when he was in the mud wall.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty
Right,
awesome.
right.
Yeah.
But all right. So 4 to me. And here's another one with some this incredible acting. But it's a movie called Bloodsport.
Oh,
And Jean-Claude Van Damme. And then you have Donald Gibb. All right. Now, that would be Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
right.
And just what a it's a true story about Frank Dukes, who was, they claim recruited to go into special forces and CIA, which of course they can't admit that kind of stuff anyway, but he was actually shot down and told no. Like, nobody, when he tried to say his story, they denied it, of course. But it's just talk about Rocky movies and stuff. I had in my notes, it's just so Rocky 4 with like Sylvester Stallone looking back at
we can all
What's
say-
cool is that was
Apollo's death, but
that
it
was
such
MMA
a
before
thing.
MMA was big. MMA became
True.
huge, and that was like what MMA was
and
like
just-
in the dark shadows before it became mainstream. kind of
And
thing.
one of the greatest scenes in it is when they're doing all the fights. They're kind of scrolling through a bunch of them, to get to the finals, and it's Kumte, Kumte, Kumte. And it's like put to an 80s tune. And now the tune left me. I didn't write it down. But just what a fucking fun movie.
Awesome movie.
True story. And you want to talk about action. It's total action.
Van Damme, lousy actor, though.
Oh, that's why I let
one
off
scene
with that.
that is like, you'd have to see it on video, but when he's like,
oh, yeah,
when
with
he
his
does the
eyes.
split and he punches the guy in the groin or whatever, and he's like,
It's
like a
terrible.
crazy
When you
maniac.
can't
Classic,
see, right? Because he throws like the salt pill in his eyes.
Yeah, because he was blind. Yeah.
But at that time, you had a choice. You had somebody that could do mixed martial arts, or you could have somebody that acts.
Yeah.
Right.
Chuck Norris could do
You
a
can't have
little
both. Well,
both.
Chuck was an exception to the
Yeah.
rule for sure. But
Awesome.
Morning kick.
Funniest thing I've seen, just a sidebar, was Chuck Norris and what's his name, the famous karate guy, Bruce Lee, and they're like, music means everything, and it's like dee 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 dee, and it's like them taking their
yeah.
and they're getting ready to fight or whatever. It's just the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, they put some sexy music over them getting ready to fight. And it looks like they're getting ready to do something else.
Yeah, funny. Awesome.
All right.
3, Donald.
All right, so this one is Snake Plissken and Escape from New York.
I was hoping someone would.
Yeah, I had to take it. Again, that can kind of slip into the sci-fi post-dystopian world, but
We're getting
Yeah,
there.
it worked.
I mean, we're almost there, really.
right. And San Francisco, it would probably be San Francisco before New York City. They'll just wall it off
Right.
and make it a prison.
Yeah.
A nice, pretty city, and it's just going to be like, oh, this is a prison now.
Yeah, and the prisoners will be the ones running the prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just an awesome,
Absolutely.
post dystopian.
Great movie.
He's awesome in that movie, and
He's
a lot of action.
What I meant really was
So
the bad
cool.
guys would be the ones on the
Yeah.
outside and free, running the prison where people like us will be.
They a lot of movies like that. They
Yeah.
copied that and really did
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like the one on the island there. I forget what that was called, but anyway,
It's
that's a
amazing the
great-
number of great action movies that Kurt Russell has been in.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was just going from 1980 to 1989.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff
There
in
is.
there. I'm not going to
Yeah.
say anything because I don't want to
Right.
Correct.
tip anybody's hand. But and then you think about the fact that his career started when he was what, like 5 or something
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
Disney, and
Yep.
from
He's married to Goldie Hawn, right?
Yes.
yes.
We are at number 3 to you, Kev.
Number 3 to me is another one of those, like AJ's been talking about, some that some people might not remember, some people might not have put on this list, but I did. I love the movie, great soundtrack, Streets of Fire.
Yes.
You know something, Waldo? We're gonna be rich.
Yeah. Long live rock and roll.
Such an
Yeah.
awesome, Willem Dafoe really just kind of freaks you out in this one pretty bad.
Yeah.
Diane Lane is
That's your girl.
Yeah, at her finest in this. Rick Moranis, E.G. Daly, who is, I'm trying to think, she was in a couple other ones. Another oft mistaken for Pia Zadora, but Bill Paxton as well. But again, that's one of those ones that with the soundtrack, I think might have eclipsed the movie.
Right.
Still one of my favorite songs is I Can Dream About You, the Dan Hartman. And you're onto something. If you're white and they've got black guys singing your part, you're doing okay.
Right,
you got some
yeah.
soul, brother, right there. And so
good.
I give that up to him. But great movie. If you missed it back there in 1984, go find it now. It's still a fun, great movie.
Nice. And you actually did bring that one up when you picked Diane Lane in.
Did I mention that before?
Yep,
Mhm.
when we did the odds and ends.
Thanks for reminding me of my senility.
Yeah, no, it was
Appreciate
awesome. No, obviously it has meaning to you, is what I'm saying.
Well,
that's
yes.
great. All right, so that's number 3 to you, Mark.
Alrighty. Well, this is a repeat. This was my surprise pick. It's Iron Eagle.
Nice. I saw your face and your size.
Never heard of it.
Yes, my wife has seen this about 50 million times, and she convinced me to watch it yesterday. And
You never saw it?
I might have, AJ. My memory might not be all that great from the 1980s. Thank you very much. But it was just such a great great movie, and it was very. It was just a happy movie, really.
Feel good.
It was a feel-good movie. You had that little prick in the very beginning.
It's a feel-good movie. Had that
No, that little punk with the blonde hair on the motorcycle, the very beginning. And they actually had a race with a motorcycle and a small plane.
Nice.
And he only
I'm
won.
gonna have to watch it. I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, it was
darn.
great.
Oh, it's
great
been
flick.
decades.
And
but-
there's a couple characters or actors in this movie that I picked out. I
love
when he-
Louis Gossett Jr.
Yeah.
But when he came out of the car, he was running up to the main character, and at first it didn't dawn on me. He reminded me of Hero from the show Heroes.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I looked at him. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that the guy that played Oliver in the Brady Bunch?
No.
Yes,
Really?
it is.
Wow.
Yes.
There's
Robbie Wrist was Milo Brazen.
Wow, I got to look that up.
No,
That's his
I
buddy.
did. I did.
That's his
I
buddy.
looked it up because during the movie I looked it up, and that is
Oh,
absolutely.
I
him.
believe you. I'm saying I want to see it.
And
That's
there was
awesome.
also, so the guy from Revenge of the Nerds, I believe, was Larry B. Scott playing Reggie in this movie.
Nice.
And he looked familiar. I may be talking out of my ass, people, which is I want to do it once
May
in a while.
I ask you a question?
Was
That's Jim Carrey.
La
Was
Sola
Oliver-
Mia.
So, I mean, obviously, this was very realistic. An 18-year-old kid flying all the way to some whatever Middle Eastern country. And, it was
just fun, man.
it was just such a fun movie. And that was my favorite one I watched yesterday for the most part.
And Oliver wasn't a klutz in it either.
No, he was not a klutz.
They must have
right.
edited that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you didn't know that, I guess. All right, well,
I
thought,
did not.
And I was just so worried you were going to bring that up when you
And wait,
when
who,
you picked
who was the guy from Revenge? Was it the Lamar?
Was it Booger?
I think Lamar.
I think Lamar. Yeah,
Yeah.
He's the man on the mic. That's me, Lamar. Yeah.
really good at throwing the javelin once they adjusted it to his limp wrist.
Oh man.
A
Classic.
lot of Revenge of the Nerds tie-ins
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Goose.
Yep.
All right.
Goose was
Yeah.
a-
Yeah.
So what do we got here? My number 3. All right. And I couldn't leave this off. Just one of my favorite movies. And no, it's not a blockbuster. But how can I leave out Lincoln Hawk?
Lincoln
and that
Hawk.
would be Over the Top with
Oh.
Sylvester Stallone.
Oh man, that was a hard cut for me, AJ.
Such a fun movie about arm wrestling, and Lincoln Hawk is trying to, his wife dies, passes away, and the grandfather, this rich prick, is trying to take in the kid, and Lincoln's fighting for him the whole movie, and he's a truck driver and just kick ass. Lots of not extras, but actors in the movie that used to wrestle and arm wrestle, and just it's fun.
It's
extremely
it's
fun.
not deep, but man, just a fun movie. Just remember this: the world doesn't meet anyone halfway. So
That's right. And
There you go.
the kid was a
That's
little
right.
brat at first.
Yeah. Oh, he's a little. I would have smacked him around.
Yeah.
Now
Shit.
it's been a
It'll
long
be
time,
little
so
shit.
I don't remember, and I cannot remember if is there a metric? Is there an actual measurable difference of like foot-pounds of pressure that you gain by turning your baseball cap backwards?
wait, whoa.
Is it like a 10-pound boost? Is it a 20-pound boost?
Yeah, but-
when you flip that hat around, I think
and
it's I don't know
there
if
you
it's
go.
just-
And then the over the thumb move.
Yeah.
Too.
Yes.
Oh my God, that just
Yeah, oh,
turned
yeah.
the
How many
match
people
on-
broke a
on-
wrist in that movie?
Oh, many.
Yeah.
Many.
Oh.
How many people drank motor oil to intimidate
That was a
their
guy-
opponent?
Wasn't it the guy that said second place is the first loser, or second place
Second
sucks?
sucks.
Second place sucks. Yeah.
Which is true, people.
Your intensity is
Second-
your shit.
There's one winner. Not everyone gets a trophy, people.
That's
If you
right.
ain't first, you're last.
Exactly.
All right. So that brings us to Dose.
Oh my
All
God,
right.
we're
So I'm
flying.
probably going to start stealing now. But this is one that could fall into another category of Christmas movies. But it's really not a Christmas movie.
Oh,
it's
no.
Die Hard.
No, it is a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas
There
movie.
is a very big debate out there that whether it's a Christmas movie or not, because it occurred during Christmas. It was a Christmas party.
And a soundtrack.
But just an amazing Bruce Willis
Pure
action movie with some of the best villains in it. Alan Rickman played an amazing villain.
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Man.
Did you notice how when he was up, they met up with John McClane up in the rafters or whatever, a different floor.
Right.
And he went into like this
fake? Yeah, he was just an American. And
Great
was in the
actor.
building.
Yeah.
One of the employees.
Yeah. What was the actor's name?
John
what was the
McClane's too
actor?
smart.
Alan Rickman?
No,
You
what
just said
the
it.
party played him.
Hans Gruber.
Hans Gruber.
Hans. Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
And the guy, what is it? John Phyllis? No, what's his name? Alexander Goodenough.
Yes.
Who's the long blonde hair.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Off.
Oh, he was the last threat in the whole.
In the movie.
And he had a brother, right?
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
yes, yeah.
But
But what movie are you talking about?
Oh, the movie with
Die
Tom
Hard.
Hanks where they're trying to fix up a house.
Money Pit.
Money Pit.
Yes.
He plays like the boyfriend in the Money Pit. You know?
Yeah,
Right,
He's like a
right.
Conductor but he plays a great villain,
Incredible.
yeah.
And he gets pissed when his brother gets killed, man.
Oh, he
Yeah.
sure does.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny though is just in the world that we live in today, the people that are like, oh, the behind the scenes stuff and the things you didn't know. As I was looking through, I saw somebody like had a still shot of the rubber feet that Bruce Willis had on during filming that because McClane was supposed to be barefoot.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah.
I'm pretty fucking sure I understood that Bruce Willis wasn't actually walking around barefoot on glass during the movie. So it's like
The glass.
What are you talking about? Of course
maybe
he was.
maybe I didn't need that bit of background
Right,
information.
right.
I kind of figured that one out on
Yeah.
my own, but
Right.
thanks for the video, guys.
Right.
Right?
Appreciate that.
Oh, man.
Shoot the glass.
That was great. Such a great villain.
Oh, God.
Awesome. So 2 to you, Kev.
2 to me is something I know I'm probably stealing this from somebody's list, but I absolutely loved this movie. It was the Miami Vice era, and it was directed by Paul Michael Glazer, who was from Starsky and Hutch.
Yes.
It was called Band of the Hand,
Oh, my God. I love
and
this
it was
movie.
a great fucking movie.
Incredible.
Band of the Hand.
Band of the Hand.
Yes, Band of the
Love
Hand.
it.
Yep.
Yes.
And you had Salamander, and you had all the other kind of inner city kids that were in Miami, and they were going to jail because they'd done bad things.
Troubled.
And that troubled youth, and this the troubled Utes, and this one individual decided he was going to take them in and make a fire team out of them, which in retrospect
Incredible.
maybe not a great idea as far as rehabilitating kids by giving them guns and having them fight a war with drug dealers. I don't know if that's the best form of rehabilitation, but it worked in this movie.
Yes, it
but
did.
absolutely great flick. Again, another one a lot of people missed. If you get the chance,
No, that's
watch
great.
it because it's fun and it's got that Michael Mann Miami Vice feel to the whole
Yeah.
thing as
Yeah.
well. So
They're in
you're,
the
When I was
jungle
growing up,
Yeah.
there was the Scared Straight program, and it was very similar where they tried to
God.
Make you
scare
fight.
Utes and
I went to one of those.
they made
believe it or
you
not.
fight drug cartels.
no, well, they would try to put you in a group
Right.
of troubled people that weren't in jail but yet going to jail
Right.
and then trying to
Scared
Yeah.
straight.
divert
Scared
them.
Straight.
Yeah.
Yep. This was a bit of an extension of that.
Yeah, and they like had their own house in Miami.
Yes.
and,
Yes.
But man, what a great pick, Kevin.
Awesome
because
movie.
that didn't pop up anywhere.
No,
And
I
that
dug
probably would've
specifically
made
for
my
it
list.
because
Deeper.
yeah.
That's a deep one.
The blonde kid, like
Lauren Hawley.
the punky weird kid.
Yes.
he
Sal-
was awesome.
the punk- wait,
was
the-
it Salamander?
Salamander was the one that was kind of off. He was
Yeah,
definitely like
yeah.
it probably I can't remember if he burnt his parents or something.
He
like
was
that,
fun. Yep.
But yeah, you had
Who's the tall, like Hispanic guy? I forget. He's in a lot now. Like he's a not big actor, but he
Calderon?
played in maybe.
Calderon. But you did
I'd have
have
to go
Lauren
watch it.
Hawley played Nikki.
Yep.
and you had Larry Fishburne
Yes.
as Cream.
Yep.
So there was there was some people that moved on, and I think it was Bob Dylan. I think did the title track, and I want to say that Robbie Robertson from the band was also involved.
Yep.
I mean, that's quite
Awesome.
the original name for a band.
That's him
but-
right there.
Carlos Quinn. Or
Carlos
Danny Quinn.
Yep. Oh, what a great pick.
I love that.
Yeah, I got to look that movie
I love.
up.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen it.
Awesome movie.
I probably have, but
Not
it's
in
been
30
a
years, yeah.
long time.
But it
Yep.
was just a fun, and I did probably 5, 7, 10 years ago. I watched it again,
Yeah.
and it was still fun.
Still fun.
a little dated, but still fun.
Awesome.
Mostly the clothing.
All right. So number 2 to you, brother.
Okay, well, we had a little break between this, but I'm going with Die Hard myself.
Nice.
It has so many freaking great one-liners in this one.
Yeah.
My favorite one wasn't even spoken. It was written on a shirt. Okay.
Ooh, say it. 'cause I
Okay,
don't
when he comes
remember.
down the elevator, the brother of the guy that you were talking about with the long hair there gets killed by John McClane, and he sends him down with a shirt, the dead body. It says, "Now I have a machine gun."
Oh, yeah. That's a note he posted to his
Right,
shirt.
right.
But
yes, but great.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
So
Yes,
There's
that's the other
actually
one.
can't leave out the cop, too.
Well, I was going to say, that's
Oh,
exactly
yeah.
it. Reginald Vell Johnson.
Yes.
So
Oh my God, I loved him.
There is a fan theory
Family Matters.
that
Yes,
that,
that's where I.
that same character,
I
because
saw
of
that.
everything that
Right,
happens,
right.
leaves. He leaves that force, and he goes and he ends up being the character that's in Family Matters.
They tried to tie it
Yeah,
together.
they tried.
in the
They
movie.
tie like every
Yeah.
film and
Yeah.
TV show that he was in together and make it the
was
same
pretty good.
storyline. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was somewhat believable. Yeah.
But when they first brought him into the movie, it seemed like he was just going to be a buffoon cop,
Oh,
just
Got,
like
his, got his Twinkies and,
yeah, basically.
Right.
But he
Yeah.
ended up being
He's like-
one of the
He
top
was
3
the
stars
man.
of the show.
Yeah.
And the way when they embraced at the end there, that was touching. And of course, the tall blonde guy comes to, and fortunately,
He pulls
out his
he pulls out his
38
gun for the
special.
first time
Yeah.
since he shot a 13-year-old boy.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But it was
Got
just
back in the saddle.
Yep, and Holly and John are back together. But we have a lot more sequels to come on that, so we'll see how that goes. So that was my number 2 pick, and
Awesome. So number 2 to me is one of actually few. We haven't had that many repeats today. And
Thanks for
this
jinxing my
one,
last pick.
Yeah.
I believe Mark stole from me on his first or second pick, and that would be Uncommon Valor.
Nice.
I could not leave this off my list. I mean, you went pretty deep into it, Mark, so I can't say a whole lot more about it, but just Gene Hackman, of course, it starts out with him heartbroken because his son is still MIA. And of course, we find out that, his son didn't make it in the end, but just this group of guys they pull together. I love Sailor too, like you said.
yeah.
oh,
but
great, he's
Goddamn motherfucker. And he's like mumbling.
just an unbelievable movie. Gene Hackman is one of my favorite actors.
I don't think there's a
period.
movie with Gene Hackman that you can't enjoy.
Yeah,
I don't know
I've
if he's
never
ever
seen
made a
one
bad one.
anyway. I mean, just incredible. I couldn't leave it off my list. It was just fucking fun to watch and cool. And I loved Fred Ward in this movie too, the sewer rat, and very claustrophobic. But just you come up behind him, you put it in this soft spot behind the head, just above the neck, and you scramble their brains. He's just cool too, man.
another iconic moment
A
in the movie.
movie that I want to bring up at the end of this list that I took off, but I will wait until after my number 1. What were you going to say,
I was
Mark?
just going to talk about that when I think it's an Eric Clapton song that he's dancing to. Bow now now now. Bam,
Oh,
bam,
yeah.
bam, bow, now.
And they all
that was
kick
Tex,
in.
That was
was
Tex
awesome.
Cobb. Yep. That was a classic movie memory from back in the day.
Yeah, it was great. All right. So we are at our number 1s here.
Number 1.
That's right. And that's you, Donald.
So I have to do it. Sorry, but it's one of my favorite movies of all time. Not
okay.
just
No
action
one's
movie,
taking
but
my
it's
number one.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
Yeah, a little questionable at the end, but we'll allow it. Go on.
questionable. Is it sci-fi? Is it
No, maybe a little bit of fantasy. When they open the ark and everyone's faces melt. But go on.
But you got to go somewhere with the story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and they got the ark and they brought it back to the museum and everybody lived happily ever after.
Right. Classic last scene is them putting it in a big government warehouse.
Exactly.
But I mean, it's just it spanned the gap between our generation and an older generation of comic book heroes and
the serials.
Incredible.
Yeah. Just, amazing end to end adventure and swashbuckling and however you want to describe it. Just
great
awesome
music,
acting, and
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not stepping on anyone here, but honestly, one of my honorables here was I would probably go with maybe I won't say anything here. I'm getting a look from across the table, so I'm just going to shut up and I'm going to go to Kevin's number one.
We're at number
if
one.
You're, if you're done,
I'm all
Donald.
set.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, by the skin of my teeth, Donald did not take my number one pick. He took the movie that came out two before that. So I chose The Last Crusade.
Nice.
I'm glad I shut up.
Because you were going to take it.
Two after that, though.
Two after that, yes.
Yeah.
Which was, it's funny we talk about these trilogies. I mean, and like I would say, with Last Crusade should have been the last Indiana Jones movie.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it wasn't.
Right.
But there it is. But it was kind of, there's like, we always talk about Star Wars and the Rocky movies and whatever. And it seems like, the second one, Godfather, the second one, the first one's always good, Mad Max. The first one's always good. The second one, they get it right. And then the third one, they kind of get lost in like merchandising and making it cute, bringing in the Ewoks and shit like that. But I don't think Last Crusade did that. You brought in River Phoenix, who was as great as a young Indiana Jones.
Incredible scene.
Right.
That
Bringing in Sean Connery again as his father.
Right.
Hilarious.
We called the dog Indy. I mean, and he was just great. So I think that was one where they just continually got better. Although there's an argument, some people didn't like Temple of Doom. I loved it. I thought it was great. I didn't care that it was as dark as it was.
Yeah.
You have chosen wisely.
Chosen wisely.
What a great,
Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
How do you know she talks in her sleep?
That was one of the best
That was a
scenes
great
when they were
scene.
tied up together. Wow.
Dad, how do you know she talks in her sleep?
Dr. Jones. Yes? I will take the book now. What book? You have the diary in your pocket.
You don't. Do you think my son would be that stupid that he would bring my diary all the way back here? You didn't, did you? You didn't bring it, did you?
Well,
You did.
look, can we discuss this later?
I should have mailed it to the Marx Brothers. Will you take it easy? Take it easy? Why do you think I sent it home in the first place? So it wouldn't fall into their hands. I came here to save you. Oh, yeah? And who's gonna come to save you, Junior? I told you. Don't call me Junior.
And the face Sean Connery makes at that point kind of smiles. That was hilarious.
Figure it out, Junior.
How about the umbrella
And the
when
umbrella,
he
yeah.
steers the seagulls up
absolutely.
to fly into the plane? What a great fucking movie.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome movie. Awesome series.
Yeah.
For three out of 5 or 6 or whatever it's at now.
Yeah.
Definitely action, perhaps a bit of fantasy. But anyway, we'll
Somewhat, but it wasn't. They didn't climb onto the back of a flying furry beast at the beginning of it.
It was.
I figured
Other
we
than
could.
the supernatural, which was towards the end, and
But again, that's
there's
also
supernatural in life. Right?
whether
Everybody-
there is,
Right.
and the Nazis were very much into
absolutely.
collecting artifacts, supernatural. I mean, there was a whole division of Hitler's folk that
so fucked up.
when they weren't burning books, they were.
Yep. All right. Number 1 to you, Mark.
Well, I find it interesting, Kevin, that you said usually when you get to the third part of the franchise, it usually goes downhill. Well, this is probably one of my favorite movies of all time. It's called Rocky III.
Yeah.
And I was very happy about it. And, I mean, this movie has Mr. T in it, obviously.
Mr. T was awesome.
Pitiful.
Oh, my God. And Apollo Creed. So you have this guy that comes in. He's just friggin' full of himself, just full of adrenaline, full of muscle. He's a southpaw boxer, by the way.
Clubber Lang.
Clubber Lang. And, Rocky Balboa, he's not really... He maybe have a little bit of a big head at this point. He's had a lot of matches that aren't, they're more like spars and everything. And, he's getting ready to fight Clubber Lang. And unfortunately, Mickey has a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not dead when he goes into the ring to fight him. And
his head's not in the right place.
His head's not in the right place. And Clubber Lang just comes out and, Rocky all his fights were basically like, they were all like Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler.
Yeah.
Who filled the shoes of, it was Apollo Creed stepped up. And,
yes. I mean, he came out, he was one of the announcers, and he came out, and of course, Mr. T was a dick to him. And he says, just go kill him. And it didn't work out. Rocky came out swinging, and then he got just overpowered by Clubber Lang. And of course, we have the great part where Hulk Hogan... Hulk Hogan plays Thunder Lips.
Thank you. I wanted that name.
Oh, don't worry. Thunder Lips. That was coming, EJ. Don't you worry a little bit about that. This is just an incredible movie. And
typical feel-good Rocky ending.
Yeah.
And you know what? This movie also, there's a man out there should have a very big debt of gratitude for this movie. And that man would be Vince McMahon. This absolutely... propelled World Wrestling Federation into the stratosphere.
That's what made it. I'm telling you, I agree.
Interesting.
And as we know, they had the rock and wrestling connection. Probably ruined I beg your pardon, Cyndi Lauper's career. Because they held her back and Madonna filled in the vacuum.
Right.
But this absolutely brought in the cartoon era in wrestling. It was one of the most fun eras in wrestling history. So that's my number 1.
It had a lot to do with it, for sure.
Yep.
Well, I'm last, and I'm on to my number 1, so I know I'm not going to ruin anyone's pick. But the Rocky movie I actually took off my list was number 4 with Drago.
I'll break you.
I must break you.
And that's just a memory to me because my mom and dad brought me to the theater in Brattleboro, Vermont. I think that's the only movie I ever saw with both of my parents. And enjoyed it. Normally your parents take you to a movie that they want to see. You're probably going to fucking hate it.
Like James Brown. I live in America.
But anyway, it's not my pick, so I'm not going to go deep on it.
Okay, so it's not your pick. Okay.
It is not. My pick is something that nobody is going to know, and I watch this movie probably at least once a month, if not more. All right. And you want to talk about a soundtrack and feel good. And this movie is called North Shore. And I'm going to get emotional. I love this movie so much. But it is a surfing movie. Kid from Arizona wins a contest.
Huge waves in Arizona.
He was surfing in Arizona?
How did he learn how to surf in Arizona?
If everyone would shut the fuck up, I'll tell you how. He wins a wave contest in a wave tank.
Okay.
Contest in a wave tank.
That's cool.
And he wins $500. And what are you going to do with that money, Rick? I'm going to surf the big waves of Hawaii, because I guess back then $500 would get you there and fucking place to stay for the season.
$500.
But anyway,
back to my
he goes to Hawaii. This guy's supposed to put him up, and he's like, I don't care what I said, just drink up and take off. And he takes off, and it's just fucking stock full of one-liners. If nobody has seen this, I'm telling you,
that's a good one.
It's
North Shore.
So fun, and just...
I'd like to learn how to sand. Yeah, you kind of got to learn how to surf first, though, huh?
Hey, I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I can tell you're lame by the way you wear your shorts.
Soundtrack, you got Blue Hotel by Chris Isaak. You have Am I the One by Gary Wright. Nature of the Beast by Angel City. Just all of these while surfing or fighting or whatnot. And it just pulls you in. This guy he meets this guy Turtle, who's fucking hilarious with everything he says. I mean,
Hey, brah. The reef starts just about here, and it stretches all the way down to there.
Reef? There's a reef?
That's right. So when a wave breaks here, don't be there, or you're gonna get drilled.
it's a cult classic, and there are sites out there that just have Turtle lines.
Interesting.
Just have Vince lines, and you got the Hui, which is the the gang of surfers, the wave surfing club, and they don't like the Howleys or the Kooks or the Barneys, like people coming over from the mainland and fucking up their trip out there, what I mean? But just this movie is so important to me, and I'll never forget the first time I watched it, and I will continue to watch it at least once a month.
I will have to watch that for you, AJ.
Yeah.
So AJ, can you get
fucking amazing? It's on Amazon Prime, is what Kevin told me today.
I think it's available.
So I'm looking at the cast, and Laird Hamilton's in it. And
Laird Hamilton,
big
incredible.
surfer.
Matt Adler, John Philbin, who John Philbin, may I add, was in Tombstone, which was a tough cut from here once we stopped Westerns. But anyway, Nia Peebles, just Gregory Harrison with Chandler, just awesome. So that wraps it up, boys.
It is available for purchase currently on Prime. So yes, you can rent it for $4.29 or buy it for the full price
for another $1,
$14.99 or something like that.
Wow, it's that high.
Yeah, they're actually probably because you watch it so much they've raised the price of it.
Probably. Anyway, mine's off football for a minute, boys.
Fumble!
Fumble! He could go.
Good work,
17
He was going
yards.
into the end zone, for God's sakes.
All right. Awesome list, guys. So that wraps it up for the day. One thing I did want to get out there, and thank you all so much out there for listening, and the downloads are going crazy, and I would like to give you our new email address because the last one, quite frankly, was a little difficult. So we tried to simplify it a bit. And that is pta80h@gmail.com. I'm going to say it again because we really want to hear from some of you people. Once again, that is pta80h@gmail.com. And man, we can't appreciate the downloads more, the 5-star reviews, and the comments you've been making. And another thing I want to let you all know is that we are now up on YouTube. So please give us a look there.
Or a listen.
Yeah, it is a listen. Thank you, Donald, because yes, there is no video just yet, but we are on there. So
we're all
find
very
us
handsome, so eventually we'll
take our word for it.
Podcaster bodies.
Perfect faces for
Hey, wait a
podcasts.
minute.
But anyway, thank you all so much. Donald, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
And Kevin, thank you for the hosting here and hospitality and the food.
I thank you all, and I did just want to give a shout out to our food today has been provided by our friends at Birch Rise Farm.
Yeah.
Farmer Kate and Farmer Ken hook us up nicely with some steak and cheese sandwiches.
I love homegrown food.
Thank you very much.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome, boys. Well, that was a lot of fun. And we are out.
Oh, surf looks good, Vince. Plenty of Holly surfers, but we'll blow them away, bro.
You've been listening to Pastimes at 80's High. Our passion is the nostalgia from the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. When times were more simple, times were more fun.
Hey, bud, let's party.
And we weren't stuck in our phones all day.
Inconceivable!
We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, you can send an email to pasttimes@80shigh@gmail.com and hit the website at pasttimes@80shigh.com. See you next time.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.